Present.
Okay, sorry. So yes, so thank you, Mr. Anon, for that brief, intro on this topic.
Thank
So
you.
I had a question on that. The idea that, you're marrying her, knowing fully well that you're going to be the daddy figure and providing money, and anything else is extra. Do you think that that is a self-fulfilling prophecy, in the sense that I think many Nigerian men say, oh, Nigerian men want money, right? So you now marry a girl that's, all she wants is money, and then you're now complaining that, okay, we'll keep our, walls up, right? I give you money, and then I have Charlie on the side, and then mommy is the first wife. You get what I mean?
No, it definitely is. I completely agree with you. And I think that's why I said it's bad behaviors learned from both sides, because it's what you've seen that you probably go and do. So it's something that we have to re-educate ourselves and unlearn, like in the sense that you have to meet somebody that you think you want to be your business partner. You want to be, when I mean business partner, I mean in life. You want to be your friend, you want to have conversations with, you want to be able to complain things about, you want to be able to show your emotions to. And a lot of men don't have that. If you think, a lot of Nigerian men don't even look for that. So they already go with the notion that this is what a woman is. So I'm not even bothered with that. I've seen things happen. Like I've been in places where there was a time I was doing one project, the other in Nigeria at some point, and there was a lady I was doing a project with. So we entered this public transport, and then one guy came into the place and brought in like some load, and he hit her leg with it. And she started complaining and saying, why did you do that? Can you apologize? And the guy said, see this woman, how woman go they talk to me like that? Immediately, I started reacting, because I'm not used to. I don't see those kind of things sometimes. So I just started saying, "What's wrong with you?" And I started shouting. I said, "Guy, you they mad? You they crazy?" And all those kind of. And she now told me I should just leave it. I should calm down. I should leave it. And then he now kept quiet, but then he was still murmuring and complaining and things like that. So people already have this mindset that a woman is beneath them, a woman is this, a woman is that. So sometimes men also use that as an excuse to not marry somebody that can challenge them, can be at their equal. I have many friends. I have a girl that has dated somebody, and she was challenging him in the sense of asking him questions, of like trying to make him, not challenge in a bad way, but more like trying to get you to a better person. And that is why the relationship ended, because he could not take that. He just wanted someone to shut up and move on.
Wow.
Mr. A, please, I think I'm going to buy a bottle of champagne. And
Ishewu on the house.
Because it's good as we have brought somebody to that is not a female gender to say it now, so that it won't be like, you see.
But let me throw some sand in our gari as women, please. I will take this to maybe Eka. Let me go to you, right?
Okay.
So he has mentioned, right, that the man isn't going to be open, or he's not set up, but he's not, from our learned behavior, right? Men are, basically once you provide, good to go, right? Do you think that as women also we don't prioritize that friendship or that emotional connection too with the man, that once he has a good job, so let me just align accordingly? Or do you wait for your uni boyfriend that is still that you can have a true friendship?
And once Ife answers, I have something else. I mean, is it Ife or Eka? You're asking. Eka, I'll have something to say to that. Please,
I should say my own first, because now, why? Do you know the thing? That's why it's good. Mr. Anon said it's bad behavior from both sides, because there are two things. There are two ways we can look at this thing. The exhibit A is the woman has decided that she's just looking for a man that can provide for her and her family because of past experiences. And then there's the exhibit B of, I am waiting for my boo to make it, and both of us will grow together. That story sometimes ends positively, sometimes ends negatively. And I believe why I said exhibit A is based on experiences she has decided that is because you find out that there are a lot of women that tried example B, and it ended up
In
becoming a
tears.
pot of rotten beans. So that is why now the woman will now say, okay, see, forget all this, love is a scam. You hear people saying that on both sides. The woman will say love is a scam. Let the man at least be able to provide for the family, and let me be
Yeah.
able to tolerate him, to be able to stay with him in the house, and then we're good. And then the man will say, at least let the woman not give me wahala, and let me be able to give her money, and then she'll be okay. Then we're good. So everybody is just living like that and
Settling.
reproducing, settling, exactly. So I think, and a lot of people also, without even experiencing it by themselves, just believe, it's bad news we all hear. Just believe the stories and then put a guard up and not even allow themselves explore or make that mistake or enter that kind of problem. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's all because even when this topic we're talking about self, the men that were responding, I was in shock because all of them say, why first care for what?
Yeah.
I was shocked. But then I realized that, as Miss Annon has said, it is what they have learned over the years or experience that they are portraying.
I mean, just as Eka said, it's what you've learned. But sometimes, I think it's so difficult. And why I say so difficult, because I've seen so many stories. A girl, especially like maybe a girl is the first child in her family,
Mm.
so she meets a guy, and maybe she's taking care of her. Let me put it, younger ones. So she meets a guy, and immediately that whole bill of younger ones plus
Moves
her
to the guy.
own is meant to move to the guy. And she
Mm.
doesn't really look at it that, oh, wait, oh, don't let me just put my baggage on the guy like that. At least even let him take care of me. No, my younger brother needs to go to school. Oh, babe, I beg,
Mm.
how far? My younger sister needs to buy this one, this one, this one. Babe, I beg, how far? That
Mm.
man, on even if he was a good guy, even if he was the best guy in the world, would stop respecting you in a certain manner. And that's what happens. Well, for me, I know that happens a lot. Like, I can say categorically, and this is this is a funny, it's not really, well, let me put it like, it's a story that happened. And because I maybe I'm too how would I put it? I'm too different from other guys like that have to feel like, oh, I have to show off, I have to do this, I have to do that. What happened if a girl that we were just discussing or talking called me up and said, let us go out, let's have a date or something like that, let's go out. And I was like, okay, no problem. I was a couple at this time, so you mind you, and she knew I was a couple, so it's not like I had money or anything like that. I said, no problem. Now in my head, it is not like a date, because I'm thinking this person is a friend, or me, I'm a friend, so we are just
Hangouts.
going out, hang out. Thank you. We are going out to hang out. Then say, us come and get from the house. I'm not driving, no. I say, no problem. I paid for taxi. I go all the way to the house to pick the babe. We now decide, okay, let's go to the place. We now go to the venue. As we get to the place, it is time to, it was a movie. So we were like, we went, we carried all the things, we put all the things together. In my head, I carried enough money because I just thought in my head that I don't want to be shamed. So I carried whatever alawi I had, I put it in my pocket. And I went to go and pay. And then we went, she now was ordering her sausage, her this, her that. I say, in my head, I was just thinking, I said, okay, let me not talk, let me not say anything. Nothing has happened yet. The next thing, it was pay the counter guy. I just used my side eye to just look if she will reach for her anything. Nothing was happening. She just even did like I didn't exist. And this is a girl that is already an engineer or something. So in my head, I'm like thinking that, obviously I don't know her pocket, but I know she's finished NYSC already. She's working. Me, I'm just starting. I know she knows my story. It's not like, oh, she didn't know me at all or it's brand new. I paid. I did everything. Then it was time to go home. It was still me that paid for the taxi to her house first. And the house is far from my house. As I jumped, in my head, I was boiling. But I didn't say anything. I was just boiling. I said, this life, is this how it's going to be if I date this person? That I cannot even say, this thing. And maybe some people say, why didn't you tell her to pay? No. I'm telling, if I asked her out and said, let us go out, I would foot the bill easily. and say, oh, let us do it, even if I have to finish all the money in my pocket, because I'm the one that is asking you out. Me, I was jejely on my own. I wasn't looking for her. She's the one that looked for me. So me, I thought it's hangout. You called me, let us hang out. So immediately I saw bad behavior. I saw something that I cannot do with.
Yeah.
And I just stepped sideways and I just kept it as friendship. And if she said, let's go, I said, no, I'm busy this time. I'm not really in the place. But again, if I asked her, because there are times that I've asked, like taking people out, tell a girl, oh, let's go out. I'm ready, whatever it is. As long as I maybe if I was, let's say, and some men don't do this, if you were not so buoyant with money, scout the place you're going to, understand the prices before you carry it. So whenever if she decides to go crazy and buy everything, you know that you can foot the bill. You won't start beefing her. After all, you asked her out. But men don't do that. You don't prepare yourself and you go and be beefing and say, how can she? You asked her out, or brother, pay for the thing.
Can I just say, from a female perspective, I personally, because I've done this before, but I know that if a girl likes you, she's not going to bill you at the first skinny, like when you guys go out first. If she doesn't really like you or she just wants to use you, then that's when she'll pick as many things as possible. That's what I feel. And I know I've asked some people and it's the same thing.
Can I just to counteract you, FA? I think it's beyond just if they want to use you. I think it's this culture of bad behavior,
mentality,
right? I've seen people that I thought were like my, I won't say friend, but like let's just say friends, we're in the same circle, right? And maybe you're in my house or something, and you want to live a lifestyle that your pockets cannot carry.
Do you understand?
But since I'm the one that's paying the bill, because these same people, if you let me dash you 10K, they will not spend that 10K the same way that they would have spent it if it was me that was just spending money for them. It's bad behavior.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying.
What I even wanted to say is that I think, and I'll say specifically in Nigeria, I think every female, not every female, sorry, a lot of females, because I have seen situations where, okay, somebody says, okay, let's go to the cinema, as your case was, Mr. Anon. And then once there's a guy there, a lot of the other females just feel that it is the guy that is supposed to pay. And sometimes you invited the guy to come. So it's like you invited the guy to come to pay. You understand?
That's what it is, exactly.
Yeah, so you wanted to watch a movie and you were like, I don't have money. Okay, let me call Mr. Anon. Guy, how far? Let's hang out. And then you did not tell him that you just need him to pay for the bill. Because me personally, if I'm going out with someone and I call the person, let's go, I will carry my own share of my money because I decided I wanted to go out and I invited you and you said, okay, I'm coming. But the idea of, and I believe they have this idea a lot of, once there is a man there, the man is supposed to cover.
It's the lack of home training, because please, the reason why this is training me, because again, I've had friends do this to me, right?
That's another thing. You will see as long as you think you're richer, you have more money.
You will see girls in Ikeja City Mall where they're doing movie. They will plan on the aspect. Okay, fine, we'll pay. Like, okay, this is discount Wednesday. Abi, they will pay for the movie at a discount. Now popcorn, they will not share. Okay, two of you will share one bag. Two of you will share the other bag. Now, when a man is involved, not only are you eating shawarma, small chops, Chapman. I'm like, what happened?
Can I add one more thing? And that one is another thing that used to vex a lot of men. And again, the thing is that let me put this out there. Some men, and a lot of men, even the ones that have money, that can spend on you. I'm trying to say, even if you came and they will spend 1 million on you that same day, those ones, they still see these things and there's a way they rate you. They can change the rate, especially if they're the ones that are not looking for that in a wife. They will change the way they rate you, and you can go from wifey to girlfriend to bang body in a second in their eyes, but they won't tell you that. No. Because they will not say anything to you. Just because of the way you behave. A man, it has happened to me and happened to many of my friends. We would say, oh, hey, we even asked the girl. We even asked the girl out. I'm not even saying the one that, we said, no. We said, what are you doing? What are you up to? We've been chatting, we've been flirting, we're having conversations. It seems like we're going somewhere. And we say, okay, let's go out. Let's go out for drinks, or let's go to the movies, or whatever it is. Next thing you come, she didn't even prepare you. You see 6 other girls. You're like wondering from where? At least let me get my 6 other men to come with me too. And talk because how am I talking to the 6 of you at the same time? What's going on? Some people might say, oh, she might bring one friend because of security. No, but inform me. Tell me before I get there. Then at least I would be prepared to know what's going on. But as soon as the man sees that, he knows what he's doing. And men are very horrible in playing. Well, when not say, I don't mean horrible in a bad way. I mean in the way that they will play the long game with you. They will not do like you don't. They will just be patient. And once they get into your pants, that's the end. They've moved on. And you'll be wondering, this guy is a bad guy. This guy, why did he do this? Why did he do that? But it's just because of one bad behavior he saw. Bad, he didn't tell you about it, but he just changed you from one place to another place. And you're wondering, how did that happen? What's going on?
Okay, let me be like Olori and play devil's advocate. So Mr. Anand said something about how he knew of someone who tried to I don't know the word, maybe confront someone or try to change them to be better, but that was like a challenge. I don't know how to even explain it. But I think why some girls prefer money is because most women at some point, they've dated men that maybe either were not on their level, or men that, maybe had ambition but didn't have money. And it's like, oh, I'm going to support him. And you support this person. And then when you try to maybe, I don't know, if you try to motivate or try to challenge the person, then it's like, why is this one? You're bringing masculine energy. Like, why are you trying to dictate my life, Kiniko? And it's like, look, those relationships, unfortunately, most times they don't work out. I don't know if it's because the men feel like the woman is trying to control them. I don't know. So it's like, okay, why would I be with someone like that when I can just be with someone who has everything and then just takes care of me? So that love, we throw away that love. Because, I mean, women have tried to love men, but then there's some men that just, I don't know what it is, but they feel like the love or the support is not the kind that they want, or they want to do things on their own time, which we understand,
I think men also have, obviously, we have an ego thing, which is the main thing in life. Men have the biggest ego thing in the sense that we like to be living our lives in the same. We like to live our lives the way we want to live our lives. You can't just come and start telling us how to live our lives. But I think we have to start looking at each other as human beings rather than men and women. Like, do I like this human being? What is it about this human being that I like? Let us remove those things first, and then can I respect this human being? Because if you can strip away the woman or strip away the man and try to see the person on a level, you can see whether you like the person or not, and then you move on. If the person and you don't get along, if you don't meet someone that can motivate you, can push you, because there are a lot of men that maybe they are doing well in life, they meet a girl and the girl doesn't motivate them, doesn't say, oh, are you going to work today? Doesn't even ask about their work, doesn't care about all these things. They lose interest in girl, but they feel they can't have a conversation. At the same time, there are men that the girl does that and they're like, you're too much in my business, move away. So I think it's just the human being rather than even just the man. It's like the guy is not shit. He's ain't shit, or how they put it, he's scum, whatever you want to call him. He can be like that. But at the same time, it goes for a woman too, because there's some women that are good and then there's some women that are bad.
But FA2, what they are saying, because I feel like where I'm coming to this is that sometimes, you have to, are you giving what you are asking for, right? If you've said that, men are scum, I invested in this guy and the guy jacked with my money, right? So the next guy, money or nothing, right? If that's how you've led in the relationship, you cannot now want to be looking for a friendship, down the line, right? When it favors you, because the whole idea is that if you take me as your person, this whole mother versus wife thing maybe should not even be an issue, right? But if you came in as on a money angle and you made it clear that Baba, if I don't see cash, I'm not moving, right? And he like, okay, fine, maybe you cook well, your sex is so he's like, okay, let me just work with you, right? You cannot expect him to now have that, emotional mushy,
exactly,
down the line, because you've already had, like, your deal is simple. I will do maybe the traditional wifey things. You bring the money, we move.
That's what I'm saying. Most women that marry for money, they don't marry for love. That's what I'm saying. If a woman, if me, I don't know, personally, I know that if I like someone, I'm not going to start buying. But if I don't like someone and I know you have money, and I want you to buy something for me, then I'll say, okay, let's go out. And then, of course, you're the one that will pay for it. But if I like someone, I'm going to be on my best behavior. So if I
Sorry,
like
so
someone,
if that's what you've been doing, if you don't like dating, so yeah,
Ca-
come
I'm
and
just saying, no, but if I like someone, I'm going to
Shiro.
be
Can
on
I
my best
ask a
behavior
question?
because I'm scared to lose him. Like, I still want to go on dates with him. So I'm going to
Mm.
be the best type of, prototype, I guess, so that this guy will call me again tomorrow. But if I don't like it, it's like, okay, buy me this. And so, no, that's it. I don't know, Sha, but
I,
I think
I, I have a question, and I don't know. I just because it's what we talked about. I mean, I said mentioned bad behavior, and I was like, okay, if you just mentioned a
yeah,
girl puts energy into a guy, and the guy just does it
yeah.
anyhow, and she's like, I can't be like that in the next guy, so she switches and says, I want money, I want baby girl life, whatever. Now she switches and she meets a guy that actually wanted you to put energy in him, and he will put energy back in you, but now he has received that bad
Mm.
behavior, so he's like, he can't deal with it. But then the next person, he says he just wants to treat anyhow and do the same. So we are just literally feeding the cycle. It will
Yeah, but
never
the thing,
end. We'll just
I
keep
think
going
people who
from.
continue that cycle are damaged. Like, I think, because I think it gets to a point where you're just damaged and you can't come back. But sometimes if you meet, because I think when you date someone or when you go on dates, there's an energy that, you give me one kind of energy, I give you one kind of energy. So typically you can tell if the energy is positive or not. So then you know if we're just going to continue because of money, or we're just going to continue because I really like this person. But if the person is like damage, like the person is on the streets, they're not coming back. That one, you're like, but I'm talking about someone who is not damaged, but it's just like, oh, I had a bad experience. So the next person, it's either you choose. I think for me, when I don't know. I think I choose if I want to be with someone for money or because I like the person. So I'm saying I don't know. I think people typically do that also. So if you don't really like someone, you probably just want to use them for money. I don't know.
Can I take this in a different direction, like a slightly different place, right?
Yeah.
Because I think what we're saying, it seems like, right, that as a wife or as a spouse, you need to earn, right, that's
Mm.
position of being put above the mother or whatever. But
Yeah,
should
I
that be
think
the case? Like, do you have to earn it, or just the fact that, like, you're my wife, like, by default things have to
you have to
rearrange
earn.
accordingly?
I think you have to earn it.
I don't necessarily feel you have to earn it though. I believe that you earn it while you're dating, not
Hmm.
while you're a wife.
Yeah,
I believe
yeah,
that and that's why the courting is meant to be is not supposed to be, you're not meant to meet someone one day and then get married to them
yeah,
next month or something like that. Normally, you're meant to spend your time getting, because both of you are meant to earn each other. He's meant to earn that position to be your husband, and you're meant to earn the position to be his wife. And then from there, once you get married, the mother should not be number
yeah,
one again. And even before they get married, she should already have been shifting to, well, number two, or just a family member, but obviously my mother, but not even, she shouldn't even be wife position
yeah,
again. But the moment that part doesn't happen, this is where you now have the whole cutting happening in the marriage, and that's already difficult, because you're meant to do all your fighting. Not that you fight in marriage, but there's some things that you fight about while you're
mm,
dating that shouldn't really come back in marriage in a certain way. It should be a different kind of fight, small fights that can turn something else, not the ones that we're going to break up tomorrow. You shouldn't be having those breakup fights
yeah.
like that in your marriage
Can I
normally.
ask a question though? What role does the mother play in all of this?
Hmm.
Because I feel
My
that we've
sister.
spoken about the husband and the wife, and the husband
Mm.
is saying my mother comes first and everything. All well and good for him to have that opinion. But don't we think it's also the responsibility of the mother to know
Unify.
what is right? Because obviously, as we also said, that the boy has seen bad behavior from his father, can't the mother also realize that for what she has experienced in her own relationship, she should not make
Exactly.
her own daughter-in-law have that same relationship? Is it that mothers a
She
lot, because I believe some mothers as well forget. I know that it is hard for your child to then go and be with another person, the only
Mm,
child that maybe that you had a close bond with. But I believe a lot of mothers also enable this bad behavior and chook
yeah,
their mouths inside what is not concerning them. And then now
exactly.
it now leads to all this, okay, mommy is my first because mommy is still choking her head inside my own relationship and my house.
true.
So
True.
if the mother was not sending you, then you would face your wife. You understand what I mean? But a lot of mothers, they are still
I
putting
think
choking their eye inside.
yeah. I think mothers play a really important role, but the thing is, it depends on the kind of role they want to play. As a mother or as a mother-in-law, your job should be to unite your son or your daughter, like unite the family, not for you to come out. Because I remember I know someone who he started making money after a while, and the girl that was there with him when he had nothing, all of a sudden she's there like, oh, it's the wife that is making him nuts. And I'm like, no, like your brother was already like that. Why are you blaming the wife? Like when she was suffering with him, where were you people? Like now that she's there and he's buying her a car, you're saying, oh, I know it's the wife that is taking the money. And it's like your mother is not helping matters. Like this girl was there with this boy when, this boy was nothing. And now your mother is now saying, oh, it's because of her that, oh, he's not picking my calls. And I think a lot of mothers do that. Like just unite, like instead of you to try to accuse a wife or whatever, like unite and then take your hands off, like literally take your hands off and just let them be adults. And if they make mistakes, of course, let them come to you, but don't go and put your mouth where they know ask you to come and put your mouth.
Yeah.
I have something for men though on this mother's thing, because I do completely agree that the mother plays a role, but I think sometimes men can do something. There's something that I know people have done, even out of experience as well. Once you get married, the best thing you can do as a man is to try to make your wife and your mother have a relationship outside of you. They should not be passing information through you. You should not be a middleman between them. And I think building that relationship between them, even when they are able to gossip about you, can build a sisterhood or motherhood or whatever you want to call between themselves. That even if they have a problem, because disagreements would happen, we are all human beings. But even if they have a disagreement, they should be able to speak to each other as mother and daughter, not as you have to take sides and say, oh, who is right? Because sometimes your mother can be right. Sometimes your wife can be right, depending on what was argued about. Or sometimes it might be in the middle, but you now have to fall on one sword. And then you might be thinking, okay, it's better. I mean, obviously, it's better you take your wife's side, always unite with your wife. But then imagine if your wife is wrong. How do you tell your wife is wrong? But you don't want to make your mother look like, you don't want your wife to look bad in front of your mother. So you need to let them have a relationship, even between. It happens a lot with older sisters as well and brothers. The same thing. You need to allow your older sister have a relationship with your wife outside of you. Let them be able to gist. Let them be able to gossip. Let them be able to even shout at you together. Let your wife be able to complain about you to your mother. Like that relationship that is built can help you move forward correctly in a way that you won't feel like, oh, I have to choose this person over this person.
Yeah.
So I think I have like two things because I am an older sister to a brother. And my thing because I remember like one time we were I think he was introducing us to like some girl. I think it was the girlfriend. Like, I'm not really sure the how
Wait, who
deep
was introducing your brother?
my brother to a girl. I'm not sure how deep they were, but I'm guessing if I'm meeting her, then there's something serious there, right?
Yeah.
And he jokingly said that like this is who you have to go through, right?
Which is you.
Which is me, right?
Okay.
And so for me, like, but to me, I didn't carry it on my head. Do you get what I'm saying? If I didn't like the girl, I wasn't going to say, you can't marry her. Or so for me, I think that we have to like as women, whether it's older sister or whether it's mother, we have to talk about the power play. Like in this culture of oppression, right?
Yeah.
Why do you feel like you have that like to me? Because I'm thinking like if any of my siblings, right, if I don't like their spouse, right, I would say like, hey, this person, I think she's an ashawo, right? I'll tell you, right? But to not make it seem like that I will die or start to start bringing this whole emotional blackmail. To me, I'm like something has to be missing in you for you to want that kind of power.
Yes. For you to be going somewhere else.
Exactly.
Out your own life.
Yeah, because for me, I'm like, he's an adult.
Let me play devil's advocate, Olori.
Yeah, please.
Okay, Nollywood has taught us, like, some mothers, the suffering that they go through to raise their child, like, for them, they'd rather die. So in that case, like, if there's a woman who maybe your husband left you or whatever, and you have maybe one child, 2 children, 3 children, and then somebody wants to go and bring one woman like that will now, because it's like a lot of, unfortunately, most parents try to live through their kids, like, so it's like, okay, I invested in this child, so I want to get back. So one woman that your son loves, you know, or you don't like the person, or that person doesn't like you, like the mother would rather die. Or if it's a sister, because I mean, there was even a Nollywood film again I watched where the girl had sacrificed literally her youth to take care of her kid siblings, and then when they grew up, they got married, she was still single, and then the wives were insulting her, like, look at you, old cargo. So it's like, in that case, like, that girl, like, she will be like, look, I will kill you and both of us will die because I've lost myself. So I think if the person has spent their whole life trying to maybe bring up a child or bring up a sibling, and then one woman now wants to come and maybe she doesn't like you for whatever reason, more people will die for that too.
But to
Then
me,
but
that's
don't you?
emotional. Sorry, go on.
I want to say, but don't you think that's too? It's the cuddling. It's too much cuddling. You've cuddled the child too much, or you've
Yeah.
cuddled the person too much. You've
yeah,
not allowed them to fall down or make any mistakes. So now you
yeah,
feel that you have to correct them when they are
Even
making
when they are
maybe a big
adults.
mistakes, or when they're adults, which is, so you've already created a bad behavior or bad bond from a young age, and that is not, you're not supposed to cuddle your child that much or cuddle your younger one that much that they cannot fall down. When you see them making a mistake, sometimes someone will not listen to you. My younger
yeah.
brother was dating a girl that we all knew was bad. I mean, everybody. He used to call us and complain. This girl was insane. Like, she was insane. If you see the videos, police has gotten involved. That's how insane she was. She used to break things in his house for no reason. He did nothing. And my younger brother is calm. So he used to break things, just wake up and just start shouting and screaming and breaking things until she injured him and police had to come. But basically, how many times did they break up? And how many times did he tell me he's done?
Go
And we
back.
said, and we'll say, guy, leave this girl alone. She has even abused us or abused our parents with foul words at some point, but not to us, but he told us. So he's already told us all these things, and we keep telling him, like, just leave it. Why you? The next thing, they are dating again. But he had to go through it. Now he's moved on, finally.
So for me, I feel like in kind of the idea of cuddling that you were saying, Mr. Anon, right? Like, I even want to extend that in saying that last 2 episodes we discussed having a covenant with God that God did not agree to with you, right? So now, whether it's the elder sister, whether it's the mother or whatever, you've given this person your all, right? And they did not sign the contract that, okay, them too, they will give
They'll
you
give you their all.
their all
Yeah.
back. So for me, when you're going into that kind of contract with someone that cannot, because it's a minor, what does a 5-year-old know that you're doing? Like they can't consent in that agreement, right? So when you're doing that, please know fully well that you may get nothing back. To me, that's part of the parents' contract.
Package,
Oh, you're
yes.
wrong. Wrong. Even in Nollywood has showed herself where you see children. Maybe the woman, wait, no, it's true. But this, I know this because it happened in my family. But I'm also saying Nollywood because I've seen movies where, movies where it happens in real life. But basically, the woman is crying, her child is crying. Oh, mommy, when I grow old, I'm going to take care of you. You know, that kind of thing. So
But
it's
then
like,
is it a child that will now be doing
A
that?
child that
Exactly.
is
The
just
person doesn't know anything.
not a child, but the person is not even a child. It can be a teenager. It doesn't have a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
What does, it's like I've seen adults like that would
And
say that.
But
Oh,
FA, can we
can
also
I say something?
define?
Can I say
Sorry,
something?
yeah.
Just one thing, sorry. A boy, for example, let me just starts as a child. His mother is cuddling him, everything. Now, I mentioned that they'll have a relationship. The only thing is no sex, obviously, because they are bonded as in their family, obviously. But then this guy now finally discovers sex with a girl, finally. And the thing is, what is blowing his mind? Do you think he's going back to meet his mother for? Sometimes that's what used to make boys leave and say, that's the girl that is servicing me. Mommy, I beg, leave me alone. I need to go and see her in the night. And then that's what used to cause fights. But auntie, mommy, you can't do those things that the wife or the girlfriend is doing. Let her live. Let him live his life. So that's like you've cuddled, you've signed a covenant, but the guy is telling you things that you want to hear because him is thinking that's how life is until he really discovers what life is all about. I mean, obviously, life is not all about sex, but I'm trying to say there are many things, and he has discovered all the things and how another woman can love him, show him love, and all those things. Sometimes that's what and that thing used to hurt the mothers a lot, and they would now use something else to fight the wife.
And even how do we define this? Give your all. Okay, so I'm working now. I built you a house in the village. I bought you a car, right? And I choose to buy my baby girl, something to move around with. You're not angry
Yeah.
that I'm not doing
She's
my all.
wasting his money.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, like even this your all is now based on your own personal
It's a it's
this
entitlements.
thing.
That's
Yeah,
just it.
Is
exactly. So for
entitlement.
me, I said, please know who you're going into
It's not
contract.
good. It's not a good thing, but I'm just saying it
Yeah,
happens because
know who you're
people
going
just
to
don't
contract with.
like. Yeah.
But two, also, I feel like as a man, because in my mind, right, putting your wife first doesn't mean fighting with your mother, right?
Yeah.
Now, if
Mm-hmm.
you didn't marry a mad person, right,
Man. Yeah.
you can say that, okay, oh, babe, see, I promised my mother when I was 13 that I will build a house in the village. Please,
Mm.
that's my first project that I've been working on for now. Okay.
After that one.
After
Yeah.
that one, maybe this car or whatever that they're asking for, I will work on it. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be fights. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, if you married a mad person, she may say that no, my own car, or nothing. And to Mr. Anon's point, that insistence may not paint you in a bad light. That
Yeah.
any normal person can understand that he's building his mother a house to say thank you. You're not
Yeah.
insisting that no, your G wagon must come first, right? It
Yeah.
makes you look bad. So for me, I feel like the way that men handle these things is because men, again, the communication is just a failure, right? Explain
Yeah.
to the non-mad person that you married that please that this is the work that as in this are my goals. Can you support
Exactly.
me in this goal? And then maybe if your own mother is mad too, also maybe don't tell mama everything that you bought for the girl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
and also,
manage
girl,
this thing.
don't start showing up for mama because the mama is mad
Exactly.
too.
Yes.
Exactly. So I feel like men maybe have to do a bit more active management of
Definitely.
this
They
thing.
do.
Definitely.
Yes, because I think a lot of men don't want to offend either of the party.
Yes.
So they
Yeah.
just keep quiet until the
They'd
thing
rather
blows up
offend their wives, unfortunately.
because they
Unfortunately.
can beg and say
Beg,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, because I know a
The
situation where the woman, like basically, when this guy went to jail, the woman went to the family members, but the guy had like 7 siblings, went everywhere. They're like, we don't know this person. No, this person is not a member of the family. Okay. Auntie suffered with her husband when her husband was in jail and tried to, and all of a sudden, uncle comes out, makes money, and then he's buying things for his wife. But then after a while, he neglects his wife, and the family is like, oh, that do you know? And it's like this woman, when your brother was in jail, we came around to ask for family members. You said that you don't know anybody like that. But now, and it's crazy. And the man still, like, you will not remember when your wife suffered for you. You're now buying things for your brothers, your siblings. When you like this guy would have been killed in jail, literally, because they were like, he doesn't have any family member. It was now ordinary girlfriend that came. Even the girlfriend said she had to cry to the DPO that please, oh, and then family will now come and be entitled. So I think families are just they feel entitled
entitled.
to.
That's
It's
the
not even
word.
about even if you suffered, because in this case, the family did not sacrifice anything for their brother. You said you literally denied your brother. Your brother would have been killed, and then the girlfriend that was there was the person that's if not for the girlfriend, you won't have a brother that is now you get like maybe taking care of you, and it's like it's just entitlement. So whether you sacrifice or not, it's just he's our brother, so we must collect. And people need that
Mm,
mentality.
why
It needs
can't
to
you
go.
go and walk your own walk? And
Exactly. And the men
ah,
need to remember because it's like in this case now, your wife was there. Now you are choosing family over your wife. Like you would have died if not for
Well,
this girlfriend, you would have died. So people, I mean,
there's one
women really go through stuff for men to not
there's
be
one
saying my mother.
statement. Sorry, there's one statement I don't like, and obviously it's not, but it's what I've seen all over the side. When the people say they separate wife and family, your
It's
wife is your family.
exactly your wife's your family. Everybody comes together.
it is well. All I can say is that in the end, people are entitled, especially in Nigeria. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, with people being entitled, even the men or the women feel they need to serve, they need to give, they need to be the one, the provider for everybody in their village. That is what always happens. And because it's enabling, you enable the entitlement, so they have the
exactly.
guts to come and insult your wife in her house. So basically, it is just entitlement. Entitlement
Mhm.
is what causes problem. And if the entitlement is enabled, it will continue. If
Yeah,
because I think a lot of the time the respect shown to your spouse is what you
yeah,
allow and portray. So if a
yeah.
man sits down and then the mother is coming to come and open her mouth in front of the husband to be saying, why would you buy your wife car? And he doesn't correct that or stop that kind of talk, it will keep on happening, and the mother will think she has a say in the family, or the family members will think they have a say in your house. And that is what always happens, even with these children. Something, oh, why haven't you had a this is that. If the man puts his foot down and says,
Yeah.
mommy, allow us, this is what we are doing, please don't disturb my wife, the mother might have animosity against the wife for some time,
Mm,
but she knows not to cross the line, and at least the
exactly.
wife is shielded for a moment in time, at least. Even though the mother can go, because there are some mad mothers that will go at the
Yeah.
back of the at the back of the husband and start doing something. But if the wife can tell the husband, and the husband has the wife's back, which, if we take it back to Meghan and Harry, the reason why Megan, for example, will not be too, like, Harry's family members cannot open their mouths and be doing Megan anyhow, because Harry is sitting down next to her even in the interview.
Right.
So
Mm,
there's a limit to what you can do to the Megan. If Harry was there looking as they were pulling her apart, as she said, then that would be a different story. Now we'll hear that Harry and Meghan have dissolved their marriage because it will not work. So I think a
Mhm.
lot of the time is how much the spouse, be it the man or the woman, allows to enter. So it's the respect you allow or you show that will
yeah.
allow it, you know?
I think you make a good point in the sense of, you may not like me, but you will respect me, right?
Yeah,
So even if the entire family hates you, right? Once the man has given you that, covering, right,
yeah,
of respect, there's a limit to what they can do because they don't want to offend, um, you know, the man. So maybe we need to
yeah.
see more protection from men. But I wanted to ask
Mm,
a question to Mr. Anon on the idea that you've seen your father, right? Sure, change your mother in
Mhm.
this care, which is why she has not made you her
exactly.
second husband. As in maybe until you're 18, or maybe as a young man, okay, maybe you don't know any better, but like you're now 30, 40, 50. Like at what
Mm.
point do you say, okay, like I recognize that she was not treated right, and I don't want to repeat that cycle? Or do you not recognize it because you were the beneficiary of that problem, if that makes sense?
I think a lot of people don't recognize it, or people don't, because they always say it. I mean, if you play any games or you play all these board games or even football, we on the outside always see the pass better than people that are on the inside. So
Mm,
sometimes when you're inside, it's difficult. It's about a lot of self-learning that would allow you to know this is what is happening. You have to understand yourself, then understand your environment, and know this is what's happening. I need to change this. Because some people try to, a lot of abusive sons, or not a lot of people, but men that are abusive towards their wives, saw their fathers abuse and they wished they would never do that. They said, I'm going to protect. They'll even fight the father sometimes and protect the mother. But then they end up beating their wives. The same thing. Then they say they now understand why their father beat the wife, because the wife is behaving the same way, and then they
Mm,
try and rationalize it. So you need to understand first, you need to see it, then you need to try and heal
Consciously.
yourself, should I say,
Yeah.
consciously heal yourself and heal the situation. Then try not to do the same thing, but you have to be very, very conscious of it, because if you're not, you will just fall back into the same cycle. And the same thing about people that are entitled, that like Ika mentioned, the same thing, you need to be conscious of it. You need to be conscious and say, I'm putting my foot down so that people will not be entitled to my wealth. And even like they said, what's the worst they can do? In some of these Nigerian movies, like it's nice to mention, they will kill the boy. They will kill their own son and come and
right,
pursue the wife out of the house and take all the riches. That's what they used to
right.
do.
or sometimes they settle amicably, sha.
Yes.
Also,
Like, if you guys sit down, please.
When does it ever really happen, to be honest? But well,
then we'll not
But
hear
yeah.
them. You'll not hear them giving confession at the end of the movie. But
Uh,
basically, it's just about knowing. You have to just be aware, consciously aware, and try to be better.
But can I
mm,
ask what worked or what did it for you in your learning process? Because I think that you make a good point in that if I'm the beneficiary of an oppressive system, it's hard for me to, you know,
Yeah, like,
see the problem with the system, one, and maybe
mm,
two, in a sense, it's hard for me to not be defensive when I am made aware of my privilege, whether it's racism, whether it's patriarchy, whatever the case
Mm.
may be, right? So what do you think worked for you in like the aha moments for you, or were you just raised in a different Nigerian home?
No, I would think my aha moment, as you put it, is, I mentioned something earlier. I said human being a human, like look at everybody as a human being first.
Right.
So I try not to look at people as you're a girl, you're a boy, you're white, you're black. I try. It's not the easiest. I try to first let us understand you're a human being first. Then secondly, I always try to perspect. I think that's the biggest thing that has helped me in my life, is to try and see things from the other person's side every time. Because like there's one thing I like to say, and I say that if I'm standing in one side and you put 6 in front of me, it's a 6, but to the person on the other side is a 9. So no matter what, until I go to the other side, it would still be it. I would never see that 9. And me and the person can argue. I say it's a 6, it says a 9, but it's the same number. It's just for me to go to the other side and see the 9 and be like, oh yeah, I get you. Or them to come to my side. Or we have to switch sides and try to understand. I always try to perspect. I try to see things like that. And maybe that's why sometimes I feel because some people might say, oh, you should always pay for a girl's bill or stuff like that, or things like that. That's how some people will say, no, you should always be this. You're just a stingy guy, whatever it is. But me, I'm always trying to see, you're a human being too. I'm a human being. Let us first agree on that. Then we work from there. And then I will do the things that I should do, that I feel, me personally, not because the society has said I have to do this, but me personally, I feel good doing this. I want to spoil you. I want to take care of you. I want to do this, but I always have to first start from perspective and trying to see everybody's side. And then that's how I talk to people. Like I talk to people the same way. Anytime someone is having, I'll say, come on, wait, stop. Come and see my side. Let's first talk about it.
That is a powerful way to end this episode. So if there are no other, or are there any other, ladies, any other Maggie you want to add to the soup?
The Maggie I just want to add is that, unfortunately, a lot of people do not want to meet in the middle and even agree to disagree. That is the issue here. So this person A will fight, person B will fight, and everybody has coconut head. Then we'll all die, and then say how I
Riding
wish.
against themselves.
So that's the problem. So me, I'll learn perspective as our guest has said, so that it will help in our life.
I mean, there's a shade in there for FA. Please, let's learn to compromise in life.
Respect.
Oh Lord. Okay, well, I want to say a very big thank you from the ladies to Mr. Anon. We really enjoyed
Thank you for having me.
Your perspectives on this, and as you said, one champagne start and share one
everything.
Yes,
delivered through our our main person there. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It was a nice episode. See you all later. Bye.
Bye.